Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at something courtesy of our buddy Daryl that I didn't think I was going to look at. It is the Age of the Primes Slingshot. I'm not in for the Age of the Primes aerial bots myself. I'm happy with my Combiner Wars ones, but I'm real excited to be able to take a look at them, starting with Slingshot, and do a comparison to the Combiner Wars Quick-Slinger. All of that and more in the latest GotBot True Review. Hey, what hell, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. Helps me out a ton, let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below, also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is, like I said, Slingshot. I have been very much curious about this guy. I'm very much on the fence about it because of the huge lower legs mostly. I will say this now. I will be as fair and impartial as I can be, considering that I am not a fan of the whole skeletal system and putting like clothes on a torso basically. But that aside, we're going to compare this guy to the Combiner Wars Quick-Slinger or Slingshot, which I think was a BBTS exclusive. We're going to look at them in plane mode. I'll talk about the arm modes and of course the robot modes. Without any further ado, however, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And while your boy GotBot is not planning to get the Age of the Primes Superion, because I'm not a big fan of the skeleton body putting clothes on method of combining, I am very glad that I'm getting an opportunity to look at the aerial bots, starting with the Age of the Primes Slingshot. Now, I am extremely curious to see how this compares to the Combiner Wars Quick-Slinger, if you will, or Slingshot, if you prefer, which of course was released 10 years ago as a, I believe, BBTS exclusive, because in the Combiner Wars set, the role of Slingshot was replaced with Alpha Bravo, the helicopter, who I also have. But once a Slingshot became available, I wanted to get it. So we're going to compare both of them here. Nevertheless, we will begin with the packaging first, as we always do. And of course, here we have that he's 1 of 5, or actually I think it says 2 of 5. And we can see on this side the robot and plane modes over here, a close-up of Superion, and of course tells us the size, class, and all of that nonsense. The artwork does not wrap around on the side for Age of the Primes like it does with Studio Series. Instead, on this side we have like an image of the 13 or part of the 13, and on the back we have both the alt mode and the robot mode, but not the arm mode, though we will talk about that as we go through the review. We've got a double-sided sheet of instructions. They're really effective, but I don't think they're necessary. I think you'll be able to figure it out. I will note the arm mode over here, as shown, is of course that his body splits in two to become a bicep and a forearm. Our boy comes with 2 of these nicely molded black blasters, no paint on them, however. And here we have both of the boys. Closest to me is the Combiner Wars Quick-Slinger, or Slingshot if you will, and of course over here is the Age of the Primes version of the same lad. The Combiner Wars one undoubtedly is more meant to evoke the like toy accuracy, what with the yellow on the chest and the silver down on the ribs. That mimics the kind of sticker detail. That said, the Combiner Wars one certainly had its imperfections, with the plane mode being somewhat stylized, the visor being painted blue instead of being left orange, and the thighs being black instead of white. Though, to be fair, the the Unite Warriors version did have the thighs white, and the Unite Warriors version continued the black from the chest down into the pelvis as it should. So the Unite Warriors version of the Combiner Wars mold is more animation accurate. This one, a little more toy accurate, though the black thighs don't match anything. This guy clocks in everything in package, including the blaster, though this isn't his blaster, this is Air Raid's blaster. He came with the same one in black. With the blaster and the hand-foot piece, this guy clocks in at 94 grams of plastic. He cost, because it was an exclusive, the BBTS, $17.99 US. Though Combiner Wars Deluxes at the time here in Canada were $15.99. So BBTS was already overcharging because it was an exclusive. This guy here in Canada is $36.99. So we're looking at about double the price. Is it double the value? Well, in terms of mass, like I said, 94 grams, 88 grams. That's including both of his blasters. So he has less mass. In terms of paint applications, this guy has some orange on the head, I think an orange on the canopy, some black on the nose cone, and black coming down the center of the body, as well as black on the hands, and I think that might be it. This guy has gold on the knees, yellow and silver and red on the body, orange and blue on the head, orange on the canopy. The tail fin of the Age of the Primes has one paint app, being blue. The tail fin of the Combiner Wars has a blue and a red. I don't know if there's a silver there, but at least two paint apps. On the wings, the Age of the Primes has an Autobot logo, a blue paint app, and two red paint apps, whereas the Combiner Wars on the wings have an Autobot logo, silver paint app, two red paint apps, and a blue paint app. So the Combiner Wars one has more paint and more mass. The Age of the Primes one, however, is definitely more cartoon accurate. Let's start giving him some scores right away, shall we? So, starting from the feet, I'm working our way up, and I can take this guy out of it for now. We'll see him again in plain. But this guy being our focus here, we have black feet, white legs the whole way up, though admittedly the hips here being black probably should have been white, but I'm okay with it. The red on the two sides of the torso, the black coming right down the center of the torso, the white apps that are here in the torso should not be there. All of that should be black. The orange head and visor with the white on the side, that's all accurate. The black hands and the white arms, all accurate. Though on this shoulder there should be an Autobot logo. And that's really it for robot mode. By the way, and not for nothing, I guess I'll talk about it now, but I might mention it later. When it comes to the airplane mode, we should indeed have the wings with the detailing on here, not the Combiner Wars, and the tail fin should have the one blue detail for animation accuracy. The black line going up the center and the center here, that's correct. The orange canopy, the nose cone, all of that's correct. So, in terms of the look of the guy, the only kind of imperfections, I suppose, that I could levy would be the missing Autobot logo on the shoulder, though I sort of get why because of the way that like this peg and stuff is there. And the white here in the torso, that shouldn't be there. I'm going to say 9.75. It's very accurate. Let's do the articulation for the guy. We have a head that goes left, right, a little up and down. The arms, they can go kind of, yeah, no, they can go all the way around. There you go. T-pose all the way out. We have a deep, because of transformation, we have a deep double jointed elbow, a bicep swivel, nothing at the wrist. We do have a waist that goes clearly all the way around. We do have, bring these out to the side, we do have hips all the way out to the side. We do have leg forward, all the way, leg back, all the way. We do get a thigh swivel, which is nice. I'm super disappointed with the knee because it's just there's so much junk that like the whole thigh is behind, is taken up with like the calf of the leg. I get it, it's there, it's all there. I don't like when the thigh is basically negated because of the leg kibble. Like if the dude was to sit down, he's basically sitting on like his calves, right? But it's there, it's certainly there, and it's certainly, you know, we're looking at, if it's not 90 degrees, which I don't think it quite is, I mean, it's 88 degrees, you know, like it's pretty much there. And we have an ankle tilt. Very deep ankle tilt, by the way. And the dude stands like a champion because of his gigantic heels. So it's all there. Comparatively, by the way, with the Combiner Wars one, if you were curious, the Combiner Wars one only has a 90-degree single hinged elbow. Other than that, all of the, I guess, articulation at the shoulders is the same. The articulation at the head is the same. Actually, the guy looks up further. The Combiner Wars looks up further. They both have a waist rotation. They both can kick forward and back. They both can do the splits like out to the side. They both have a knee. Actually, the Combiner Wars is 90 degrees, whereas this one is about 88. The Combiner Wars does not have an ankle tilt. That's the one big bummer with the Combiner Wars. Too bad, too bad. Neither has anything at the wrist. So very comparable there. That said, the ankle tilt, I gotta give credit where credit is due. He was already getting a 9.75. I wish the knee was handled a little bit better. I would say same thing in 9.75. It's not perfect, but it's real strong. No doubt about it. Let's do the transformation to plane mode, I guess. So, right now, overall score, 9.75. It's an excellent air raid. By the way, these can go in his hands. It's just 5mm pegs. I just have them put in the wings. You can do what you like with them. We're going to turn the head around, and I do dig that within the head we have a little landing gear. I think that's neat. I like that. We will pick the back off, but we're not going to bring it up over yet. We're going to take the arms and rotate them around and fold them up. And yeah, rotate around, fold it up. Then using the hinges up here by the head, we're going to angle the arms up, and push them in. When we do so, there's a round peg and a peg hole that lines up, and I think there might be even a little rectangular peg that lines up. Then this comes down over, and of course it is able to tab in upright here. It pushes down kind of into the shoulder section, fairly tight actually. So that's kind of the front of the plane mode done. Now, what some people have done, and I'm going to mention this right now, what I've seen some people do is at this point, they will take the arms like this and they will turn it like this and they'll fold these down like this. And this will become a arm mode for a Combiner Wars set of aerial bots. And you might say, whoa, 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 why would you do that? There are people who prefer their combiners to actually combine, and while they don't have the Quick-Slinger, they wanted a slingshot. So I've seen both a 3D printed piece that goes into these 4 slots and slots down into the arm of, I guess, Combiner Wars Herein. And I've seen an adapter that plugs in down here to put a 3D printed fist on. I've also seen somebody use a piece of metal that they were able to bend to go in here, and the piece of metal was screwed onto the circular chest piece of, I guess, a spare Combiner Wars dude, and the actual combining mechanism is able to go in. In terms of how it pops off here, I guess it just pops out of these 4 holes. So there are options if you want to use this as a Combiner Wars version of the arm. And it would stay like this. I'm just mentioning it because I've seen it. By rights, within this little indentation here in the tummy, not the lower one, the upper one, that upper white one, that's where you would push in to separate the upper half and the lower half to make this guy into the Age of the Primes type of arm, I suppose you would say. We're going to open out the front of the legs, and then essentially we're just Combiner Warsing the legs down. I mean, we've seen this 10 years ago. It's the same mechanism, right? And you know what? You know why it keeps getting used? Because it's effective. That's why. And we put up the feet, we put down those tail pieces, make sure we got the tail fin out, make sure we got all of this sort of pushed together, and boom, in the end here we have Slingshot in his plane mode. Honestly, going to plane mode, which is also essentially his arm mode, super easy, very intuitive, very Combiner Wars-esque. I'm going to give it a 9.7. No, you know what? I'm giving it a 10 for the transformation. Everything works super duper smoothly. Here we have him next to That's right, the Combiner Wars one. So the Combiner Wars one is certainly sleeker. It does have more detailing on the wings because it's more toy accurate. The new one, the Age of the Primes one, is definitely a little bulkier with denser plastic. I will also say this. While the Combiner Wars one, it has more mass, thanks to the hand, foot piece, and the blaster, it also employs more ball joints, whereas the Age of the Primes one, to its credit, does use more hinge and swivel joints, which I believe to be better, no doubt about it. It certainly helps the tolerances. While the Combiner Wars wins in terms of mass and really price, the Age of the Primes one wins in terms of, I'll say, tolerance build quality with the hinge swivel and animation accuracy. Neither are bad, but they're trying to accomplish two very different things. If you didn't get the Quick-Slinger, but you like the Combiner Wars version of Superion and you want to add a slingshot, there are ways to work the Age of the Primes one into working with that set. That said, the Age of the Primes one obviously works with the whole like skeletal system putting on clothes that will be Age of the Primes Superion. It naturally works well with that. I don't know if it's fair to compare these because they're trying to accomplish two very different things. If you don't have the Combiner Wars Superion, should you go back and try and hunt that down, or should you just get the Age of the Primes one? I would say get the Age of the Primes one. These keep kind of falling over a bit. I would say get the Age of the Primes one. Don't go back and go hunting for the Combiner Wars. If you have it and you're happy with it, then I don't see a need to upgrade. If you don't have it and you're wondering, do I go back in time or get the Age of the Primes? Get the Age of the Primes. And if you have it, but you really want a Silverbolt, if you're willing to do a little bit of legwork, I think that the new one can even work with that set. 9.75, 9.75, and a 10. An excellent Silverbolt with an overall score of somewhere around a 9.8. Yeah, he is splendid, even if not quite the style that works for me. And here we are, and here they are. So there's a lot here to sort of digest. All in, this guy from BBTS as an exclusive was $17.99 American. At the time, that translated into about 25 bucks all in. Canadian. This guy is $36.99 Canadian. So this guy was already overpriced because he was an exclusive. Fun fact, I'm pretty sure that this was the first ever exclusive Transformer I actually bought. I digress. Even when I got this, I realized it was more toy accurate than animation. It was a little stylized, especially with like the black thighs, and the blue visor really threw me because he should have an orange visor to match his orange head. I like both. I prefer the Combiner Wars as an arm, though, as I explained, you could adapt the Age of the Primes as a Combiner Wars-esque arm. The way that the Age of the Primes is intended to work as an arm, I don't like it. I don't like the splitting apart. I don't like the fact that when I try and bend those arms, at least on Menasor, that like the car pieces just fall off. I'm not confident they would stay on. A lot of people have had better experiences than me. So if you do like that system, he's great. Maybe the best way that I could explain it is like this. As a slingshot, right, as just a transformer, the Age of the Primes is excellent. Robust, dense plastic. Even though the Combiner Wars is more mass, the plastic is not as dense as it is on this guy. There are hinge and swivel joints used on this guy instead of ball joints. The transformation on both, very simple, very smooth. The resulting plane mode here, very animation accurate. The resulting robot mode here, very animation accurate. As a version of Slingshot, he is stupendous. He's excellent and he really captures the look. As an arm, I think the Combiner Wars arm is more successful because because of the way it's intended to work. I prefer that. If you prefer the new method, then you're going to say that this version is more successful. I think, my bottom line is this, I think as a version of Slingshot, I think the new one is more successful. As a version of an arm, I think the old one is more successful. But that is obviously subjective. Do I see enough here to say that this was worth the increased price? No, I don't, which is why I'm not upgrading for my Combiner Wars. But if you didn't prefer the Combiner Wars, or you didn't have the Combiner Wars, then this is an excellent slingshot to get. If you're in for the Superion, that's up to you. If you want to adapt it to be a Combiner Wars-esque limb, that's also up to you. Excellent slingshot, iffy arm, but that's subjective. Overall score was very, very high because he absolutely deserves it. Yeah, he's excellent. Let me know what you think about Slingshot and kicking off the aerial bots for Age of the Primes. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you are at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.